What's up there, everyone? It's GG Sober Son. I am not able to get to the beach today, but here's a pretty cool substitute. This is in my sister and brother-in-law's neighborhood. Subdivision called Hidden Lakes here. It's a cool covered bridge. That was pretty neat. March 23rd. 24 hours a day book reading. AA thought for the day. Strength comes from the fellowship you find when you come into AA. Just being with men and women who have found the way out gives you a feeling of security. You listen to the speakers, you talk with other members, and you absorb the atmosphere of confidence and hope that you find in the place. Am I receiving strength from the fellowship with other AA members? Absolutely. That was a huge part of recovery for me, was the connections, the relationships that were formed and continues to be, for me, I think, I say it all the time in meetings. If somebody at that first meeting said, here's a great book, we know you got a problem, you have obviously admitted you have a problem, here's a great book, read this book, come back and talk to us about it. If it were a book club, I don't think it would be as impactful. But the people that I met were willing to share their experience, strength, and hope. Were willing to share their dark past and talk about how they found a way out. If they didn't share their dark past, it would just be teaching and preaching at me kind of thing. But as they were willing, and that is what made me uncomfortable at my very first meeting I went to. And as I've shared before, I went to my very first meeting when I was 16 years old. I tagged along with a buddy of mine that was my same age and almost 2 years sober. And they were doing this full disclosure as far as I could tell. I'd never been around a group of people that were willing to share their dark past, their mistakes. I'd never been around a group of people like that. So it made me uncomfortable when I look back. And I thought they were just doing it because I was there, And I was like, look, I don't even know if I buy into all this stuff. I really, literally am just a tag along. I don't think I have a problem. And if I do, I'm just getting started. So why would I want to quit altogether? That's really kind of my mentality at that time. So you don't need to do all this just for me, because I'm not in it to win it. But when I was ready, I know after that meeting and after spending time with my buddy and his sponsor who chaired the meeting, after the meeting, again, developing relationships, and I knew, I couldn't articulate it at the time, but I knew I wanted what they had. I didn't think I needed to get sober to get it, but I enjoyed their company, and the connection was there. I knew that if my drinking ever got bad enough, I knew where to go. So the seed was planted for sure, but it wasn't planted by a book. It was not, don't hear me knocking books, okay? I'm more talking up relationships and the connections. Strength comes from fellowship is the first words of this reading. And that fellowship, I wouldn't have called it that at the time, is what really solidified my desire Not right away, but when I went back some 8 years later for keeps, those people were doing the same thing. They were willing to share their crap so it could be fertilizer for my life, kind of thing. And that's huge. And I thought, oh my gosh, maybe this is the culture of this organization, whatever you want to call it. So I'll keep coming back. That's kind of how I looked at it. But anyway, that, and even the people in those rooms, they seemed to be sober and happy about it. And I'd only ever seen my dad when he got sober, and he was miserable. This was different. And so I thought I'd stick around. Oh, you gotta see this. I don't know if I can bring it up on the camera or not, but here's a little baby turtle down in the water. You can't see it now. Oh, it must have dove down. It's adorable. So, relationships, connections, that's what kept me coming back. That's where I receive strength, and that's what keeps me coming back. Meditation for the day. God is with you to bless and help you. His Spirit is all around you. Waver not in your faith or in your prayers. All power is the Lord's. Say that to yourself often and steadily. Say it until your heart sings with joy for the safety and personal power that it means to you. Say it until the very force of the utterance drives back and puts to naught all the evils against you. Use it as a battle cry. All power is the Lord's. Then you will pass on to victory over all your sins and temptations, and you will begin to live a victorious life. That sounded super religious, but it's all good. Prayer for the day. I pray that with strength from God, I may lead an abundant life. I pray that I may lead a life of victory. And for me, that's what it's all about. I don't want to just knuckle down and live a dry life. So keep coming back. Look up, aim up, rise up. Love y'all.